Let's understand that in case of shares, how do you ascertain the cost of acquisition and the holding period? Again, as usual, before I commence with explanation of this, let me explain to you what I am going to cover here. Now, there's always a company and there is a shareholder, right? The way the process works is that whenever a company goes for, there could be, even before that, they can be a listed company or they can be an unlisted company. Okay, a shareholder can buy shares of either of these companies, right? And then the way it works is that whenever an unlisted company converts into a listed company and issues its shares to the public, okay, when the company issues to the shares to the public, it is known as primary issue. Okay, and the second thing can be, once a primary issue is made to the shareholders, okay, an outsider can purchase the shares from these people. That is known as secondary issue, right? So you have two situations: when a company issues shares to the public, a primary issue; when the shareholder purchases it from the other shareholders, it's known as a secondary, actually not a secondary issue, you can say it's a secondary purchase. I stand corrected to that extent, right? Now, once a shareholder owns these shares, various events can happen, okay? The first one being that the company may come up with a bonus issue of shares. What is meaning of bonus? Bonus means that this person, let's say for example, had 100 shares. The company said, take 100 more shares from us, okay? And we will give this to you free of charge, right? That is known as a bonus issue. The second thing which is there is a rights issue. In a rights issue, what happens is that if, let's say for example, the price of the share in the market is 100, the company offers shares to the existing shareholders, only these people, okay? And if this guy has also purchased some share, to this person, to the existing shareholders, at a discounted price. Otherwise, why will he buy it, right? So let's say for example, the price in the market is 100, the company offers it for 80, right? Now, whenever the company makes an issue, a rights issue, the person who is given this right, the existing shareholders basically, can either purchase these shares themselves, okay, he may pay 80 rupees to the company and buy this share, or he can go to a third person and tell him, are you interested in buying these shares? If he says yes, he says, okay, I will sell this to you for 90. Okay, so the way it benefits both of us is that I will get the difference between this 90 and 80, okay, and you will get one share which is rupees 100 in the market at rupees 80. This is known as renunciation of right. Right? Now we will understand what is the tax implication for each one of these, okay? So on the left hand side, what I have is the mode of purchase of shares, okay, whether it is purchased from the market, primary, secondary, purchase between parties and all those things. Then is, how do you calculate the date of acquisition and the holding period? This is relevant. Why? If you remember, I told you the date of acquisition and the holding period is relevant because that determines whether a capital gain is a long-term capital gain or a short-term capital gain, and accordingly the tax rate differ. And the third is, what is the cost of acquisition? Okay, so the first one is shares originally purchased from primary market. Means what? The company issues these shares. Company issue. Okay, whenever the company makes the issue, the allotment date, okay, every time a company issues shares, you must have read this in the Companies Act provision as well, the date of allotment is mentioned in the share certificate. That date is to be considered as the date of acquisition, and from that date you consider what is the period or what is the date difference between the date of purchase and date of sale. What is the cost of acquisition? The allotment price, right? The second is you buy it from secondary market, which means open market. The company does not issue it. In case of primary market, you make the payment to the company. But in case of secondary market, there could be some third party from whom you are purchasing these shares and you make payments to them. Again, this can happen through share brokers. Okay, so there is a broker in between who knows the buyer, who knows the seller. He connects between the two of them, charges a commission, right? So if you're doing the share transaction through a share broker, the date of acquisition is the date of broker's note, right? And the cost of acquisition is the amount paid, which means what? The amount you have paid to the seller plus brokerage, which you pay to this broker, plus any forex adjustment. This we will discuss, adjusted for cum dividend stroke interest. Now what does this mean, cum dividend interest? Many a times when you purchase a share, you purchase it cum dividend. Means what? So let's say you purchase a share for 100, okay? The company has already declared a dividend of 5, right? In that case, your cost is not 100 because 5 rupees of dividend you get once you purchase the shares. Therefore, your cost is considered only 95, right? Adjusted for cum dividend stroke interest. Actually, there's no interest in case of shares, okay? It could be in case of other financial assets and not for shares. But when you purchase directly from the other party, you purchase in a secondary market purchase, the transaction can be through brokers or directly between the parties. Then the date of contract of sales is the date of acquisition, right? And the cost of acquisition is as above, which means the amount you pay, the brokerage is not there, or any forex adjustment, right? Second is bonus issue. In case of bonus issue, as I told you, what happens is if you had 100 shares, the company said, okay, we'll give you 50 free shares. You don't need to pay anything, right? The date of acquisition of bonus shares is considered as date of allotment, okay? And the cost of acquisition is considered as nil, right? Why? Because you don't pay anything for the bonus shares, right? So in case, let's say, for example, you had 100 shares which you purchased for 1,000 and you have 50 bonus share for which you don't pay anything. What you will do is when you sell 100 shares, the cost will be taken as 1,000. Okay. And when you sell 50 shares, the cost will be taken as nil. Right? Shares held, depository system, taxable in the hands of the beneficial owner. Now, what is a depository system? Let me just explain this to you in brief. In case of listed companies, the shares are required to be in dematerialized form. Which means what? That normally if you see, there are share certificates which show that, okay, this person X, Y or Z owns this many shares in the company, right? But what happens is that in case of listed companies, these share certificate over a period of time, actually not in case of listed companies, in case of all companies, the share certificate might get torn or may get mutilated or destroyed, right? Because it's formed of paper. So to overcome this situation, in case of listed companies specifically, you don't have any restrictions that even unlisted companies shares can be dematerialized. But in case of listed companies, the shares are in a demat form. What this means is that there is just like, you have a bank where you put your money. Okay. In this case, you have a depository who opens an account for you in which you can put in your shares. Okay. So once the share comes into this pool, the date of acquisition actually becomes irrelevant. Because in this entire pool, you cannot make out what was the date of acquisition for which shares. So therefore, what happens in this case is that the date of acquisition or the holding period is calculated based on FIFO method. What does this mean? So let's say you acquire on 1st January 2012, 100 shares. On 31/3/2012, you acquire 50 shares. Now let's say you sell 50 shares, right? It will be assumed that the shares which have been sold are the ones which were acquired first, if these shares are held with the depository in a demat form, right? And similarly, the cost of acquisition is also calculated on FIFO basis, which means what? You will first take the cost of these shares, Okay, and once these shares are exhausted, then you move to the cost of these shares. So let's say if these costs of these 100 share was rupees 50 per share and this 50 was 80 per share, you cannot take a higher cost. You have to move as per the FIFO method.